Gomersall, he'll start from the back. He was penalised for his role in the contact down at turn 1. That's only the start, Matt. We'll need more of the race to talk through it.
Just scratching the surface. That puts Bruce Williams up onto the second row now alongside Jim Richards. Ian Woodward, a strong showing this weekend alongside John Bow, Mark King, Cameron Mason and Cameron Tilley, and Leo Tobin starting from the 5th row of this race. Al Bowden, yes, he went one day early yesterday and new set of Hoosier tyres on the back of the 97 car with Andrew Fisher, Jim Policina, Tony Kay from 14th and Jason Gomersall. Keep an eye on that big mate Tirana from position 16.
Add to the list Tony Karamfilowski, car 88, always a front runner in this category. They changed an engine overnight, ran out of light, so they came back this morning and finished it in a beautiful pre-dawn light here at Hidden Valley Raceway. That car dropped the valve during the race yesterday, so they had to put the spare engine in. Just one of many, many stories. You mentioned Leo Tobin. I spoke to him today and said, so how did you go yesterday? He goes, no, had a clean, nice day, stayed out of trouble, was pretty user-friendly. So he was the only one in the paddock.
He's the only one who had an early night last night. For those that haven't watched the coverage all weekend long here on Fox Sports, we didn't get to see Ryan Hansford get to qualify in that car in the back of the trailer. I saw a shot on socials this morning of the Peters team in the back of the truck watching our coverage. What a long way to come and watch TV was the quote.
They'll be back in the next round, couple of weeks' time. For the very first time, the streets of Townsville, very highly anticipated. But now we look forward to race 11 of the 2018 season. They're still a bit jumbled further back, getting ready for the rolling start, but it's Stephen Johnson who'll lead the field down with Adam Bressington, the White Line Racing Camaro on the outside.
And Bowden coming into pit lane before the start of the race, the Mercury Comet. He's going to have to do a three-point turn coming into the pit lane with that car as we get set to wave the green flag. And it's race number 3 of the Peter Dixon Touring Car Masters. Great start from both Johnson and Bressington. Johnson straight to the inside to protect the line. Could this be a race, though, for Adam Bressington? He's picked up a win already this year, but here comes John Bow on the outside into turn number 1.
Just thinking, I wonder how hard JB will commit to the outside of turn 1. The answer is very. Goes around a couple of cars and gets himself to 3rd already. So that's important for JB. He lost a lot of points in his championship chase. For the first time this year, Stephen Johnson, a clear leader in Peter Dixon Touring Car Masters. So JB, damage limitation, the order of the day, and already he's working on Adam Bressington. There's Jason Gomersall on the comeback trail. In front of him is Cameron Tilley. Wasn't real happy with yesterday, but he was one of the few that got away with any damage. Yeah. He just fired it up the road, getting out of harm's way. What
about the move from Gomersall already? He's up into 11th position as he goes with Jim Policina. You could not have scripted seeing that tow hook go through the oil filter. It's never heard of in this sport. The luck that comes in this motor racing caper sometimes is incredible. There he is in front of that Mocom, number 27 Tirana, on the back of the Pacer, down into turn number 1, down into turn 14, I should say, to end lap number 1.
Dean Lilly, who looks after this car, was really happy that his driver shut it down before it did any serious damage and said there was still 10 litres of oil left, fortunately, before that car expired. So he goes past Cameron Tilley, 6-cylinder power versus V8, no contest. 1.1 kilometre long front straight. There's Ian Woodward. He's under pressure from Andrew Fisher. He's got Bruce Williams in front. Bruce led a couple of times throughout yesterday's trophy race. He's in great touch, driving the AC Delco Tirana superbly. It's a cool photo series website of him all crossed up coming out of the final corner with all 4 wheels out over that yellow curb. So driving it hard. He's currently in the top 6. Stephen Johnson leading the way, Cameron.
Bouchin back in the lane at the moment. His fronts have locked on. He said he had a brake bias issue, but the fronts are now locked on.
There he is sitting in the pits right now, a shake of the head, and I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing right now. Is he planning something in this race, perhaps?
Well, I don't think he runs a line locker in that car to lock the front brakes so you can
he's an ex-drag racer.
Do some good skits, true. He'll fight back.
Be good to see the Comet later on for race number 4 here today at the Peter Dixon Touring Car Masters. The trophy race yesterday, the Shannon's Thunder in the Valley race, one of the best so far in season 2018, as Johnson has a 1.7 second lead now to Bow, Bressington and Jimmy Richards in a part-time campaign. There he is in car number 2. Passing move here from Fisher down the inside of Bruce Williams and just parked him on the outside at turn number 1. So the Jesus Falcon looking for a resurgence in luck this year in car number 9, moves up another spot, puts him in the 6th. And Bruce Williams, who's having a really good weekend, that AC Delco Tirana, now feeling the heat from Ian Woodward. That's 69.
Tell you what, Cameron Mason in front of them all at the moment. The Newcastle-based driver Very proud of his relationship with the Hunter Valley. Every sponsor on that car comes from the Newcastle region.
Cool.
They've put together a really cool local team, and a lot of it based on what happened there last year, the final round of TCM and indeed the Virgin Australia Supercars Championship in the streets of Newcastle. He's having a really good race, but as I say that, smoke pouring from the number 3 Ford Mustang. I'm sorry, Maso. I feel like we've just jinxed you. A really stout run up into P5 and now limping back, and there's a definite trail of fluid coming from car number 3.
Oh, what a shame. He was in strong contention, and now the struggle getting that car back to the pits. He might just pull it up here on the left-hand side, parallel to the drag strip, or find a gap in traffic. Nonetheless, his race is done. In race 3 here today, Johnson, 1:13.254. It's a new lap record for the Team Johnson, number 17, as Mason limps back into the pits.
It's an old lap record he's beaten as well. Set back here in 2015 by John Bow. And that's a replay of the start. You can see the Mercury Comet rolling into pit lane. Pretty even jump between Mustang and Camaro. The US pony cars going at it on the front row. Bracington immediately across, to cover himself from attack from behind, but also get a bit of a side draft off car 17.
This is window of Gomesol's car, see it flapping them out in the breeze there.
They're allowed to use Perspex side windows on these cars to get a bit of weight out of them. Fiberglass panels as well. Tony Kay on the outside, committed pretty hard at turn 1. Leo Tobin just in behind, watching that fight. And this was that really good move from Andrew Fisher, though it was almost not a really good move because he almost ended up driving down to Palmerston when locked that inside front tyre as the car was unloaded, and that's the puff of smoke. And that's what's unravelled Cameron Mason's day. Really good young guy, fast driver. Luck just not rolling the way of that team. Of course, his dad, the inaugural Touring Car Master champion some 10 seasons ago now.
Back to the leader, Stephen Johnson, 2 seconds now back to Bow. Bressington is a further 3 seconds away with Jim Richards. And DJ with a smile on the face down there, well he might be too, as Jim Policina goes off at turn number 1, the Mocom Tirana. Drops right down the field into 13th position now. Was there assistance?
Bruce Williams on Mark King. AC Bilko Tirana down the inside, so he got some curb and it unloaded car number 5. And he ran out wide there, and that's opened the door for Gomesal as well. Bruce has dropped down to 9th place. Just got gobbled up there by 3 cars. Woodward went past, and all on his own, Policina, just behind that little battle pack, just dropped without having any other assistance there, which is a bit of a shame. And a strange mistake from the vastly experienced Sydney sider in the Mocom Communications car.
So down through the slalom and into the final turn. Half race distance, another one to come up later this afternoon to determine this weekend's round on the Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters.
Just had a quick chat with Cam Mason. He's not sure exactly when it happened. Oil pressure light came on, he lost all power. So he's parked up now and they're trying to diagnose how it happened.
Thanks, Cam. No oil pressure, because I suspect it's all been dropped out of that car, and that was the smoke we saw coming from it round the back at turn 10. There's the team going to work, little family operation. A lot of their sponsors actually come along and muck in and get involved in running the car on a weekend too, which is very cool. You can see Steve Mason there in the blue and white polka dot shirt, just finding out what's going on. That was a brand new engine for that car at the start of the season as well. Cameron Tilley, car number 60, it's the bright blue Valiant Pacer, punches above its weight, and through consistency this year, remarkably running in the top 3 outright in Paynter-Dixon Touring Car Masters. It's a cool car, wildly popular. 6-cylinder power punching along these big V8s, and well, it gives away about 20 k's an hour in a straight line here at Kidden Valley, but it just keeps punching on. It's so good through the corners. He drives it hard. He can compete with cars that perhaps in paper it shouldn't be able to run with.
He's going to be good in Townsville, that car.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. Where horsepower's not a massive deal. Reasonably long straight in that run through the kink and then down to turn 2, but getting power down there is going to be crucial. And your mid-corner speed, which is where car 60 looks good. Straight line speed looks good for Ian Woodward. Car number 69. He's under pressure from Bruce Williams, who's been very good under brakes at turn 1 throughout the weekend. This is the fight for 8th and 9th position, with Cameron Tilley in 10th just behind, and a recovering Tony Karanfilowski next. So it's a good little battle pack, a group of different looking, different sounding and different performing cars all in this little fight.
Been closing that gap. Karanfilowski for the past lap or so is now Bruce Williams a phantom walk down the inside at turn number 5. And Tilly in the strong section now for the pacer. He finished 3rd in race 4 at Adelaide this year. And now this starts to heat up as Williams trying the long way around here. He's going to be careful, though, because Tilly puts the pacer down the inside, but will struggle through this corner. And Williams, he's going to do this.
Oh, and Tilly looks down the inside as well. Great battle pack, sliding these cars around in hot conditions.
Great pass.
Terrific racing. Woodward's car just dancing left and right out of every corner. Did it out of 5, did it out of 6. Struggling to put 650 horses to the ground. No contact, hard motor racing, but very fair motorsport from all of them. Gave them racing room. Terrific stuff. Let's see that again.
That was cool. It set it up nicely. Woodward snapped sideways, which allowed Williams to get the better drive. Went to the outside here at turn 6, which rarely do you see a pass happen. Tilly waited for the gap to open, but it was coming out of 6 and down into 7. That's where it really got exciting.
Watch car 69. So put the power down, slide a bit more, and slide the other way. And that just opened the door for Cameron to put the nose down the inside too. And he's since actually completed that pass. So on the timing monitor showing that he's gone through as well. And that's where he did it.
Good.
Terrific. That's great.
Back to the leaders, and they're now 6 seconds ahead of Bressington, who's coming into the shot now in the background of turn number 7. So Johnson has 1.2 seconds to bow.
Steve's got a terrific track record here. Back in 2015, when he was borrowing JB's Mustang, it was JB's car at the time. He won the round. Came back a year later in the GTHO Falcon, won the round. Last year in his what would be a championship campaign, he won the round. 3 straight round victories. No driver in the history of this category has ever won 4 straight rounds at the same venue. So pretty interesting statistic that Stevie J is trying to reset this weekend.
It's in the box seat right now with about 25 points over Bow, but only 12 over Bressington. Here's Gomersall down the inside of Bowden, who's back out in the circuit, but a couple of laps down right now in that Mercury Comet. So Gomersall, who started from 16th, now runs in 7th position and chasing Mark King ahead. Oh, locks the rears for a split second, just pulls up the big mate Tirana.
Sound great, don't they? They rev these cars very hard. 4-speed gearbox, non-sequential, old school motor racing. Heel and towing still a thing here. Match the revs, and that's just what Jason struggled with a little bit there into 5. That's why he locked the rear wheels.
Nice little short shift, wasn't it? Through the middle of 7 and 8 now. The tricky turn 10, 11 and 12 complex, which we've seen many cars off on the right-hand side this weekend. We're on the final lap now of this race. We look down at Team Johnson, staring down the barrel of another race win. John Bow in 2nd position and not really making inroads on Johnson ahead. They're stretched down to 7, nearly 8 seconds to Bressington. And Jim Richards running a lonely race still back and forth ahead of Andrew Fisher.
Andrew's been really strong, hasn't he, in the Jesus Racing Falcon? Very solid P5. Had a 3rd in the trophy race yesterday that was won by Mark King. The victory, the prize for that motor race, sponsored by Dometic, who make fridges. And the prize is a portable fridge. Kingy said to me, I was really pleased to win that race because I'm going fishing later in the week up here in the top end. He's staying around to experience the territory hospitality. He was thrilled to win that race. And he's just passed Andrew Fisher. So he's moved himself up to P5. JB's catching, but a little bit of showmanship perhaps for Stephen Johnson to let his old mate and rival have a sniff of victory in the final corner. But it'll be another win for Stephen Johnson on his way to a round win in the top end. 2 from 2 in the championship races at Hidden Valley.
And he'll do it by just over half a second. Give it to Johnson, fist pumps the air, and in the box seat now to take another round victory here at Hidden Valley. And Dick Johnson going, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Pretty good. Adam Bressington across the line in 3rd. Pretty solid race for the VDC Camaro. Jim Richards strong in 4th. Mark King, terrific drive. Back to 5th place in a rebuilt car overnight. And then this battle pack was exceptional the whole way. Jason Gomersall from the back of the field to 7th. Really good drive.
These guys have been mastering this.
They did that at Newcastle after the championship. Terrific. Great scenes. Great respect shown between them.
We wrapped up the series last year. We'll do that again this year at Newcastle. Johnson and Bow mark it again for another 1-2 in the Painter-Dixon Touring Car Masters, and in the end 10 seconds clear of Adam Bressington. Jim Richards a further 3 seconds. Mark King in 5th, but Andrew Fisher, Jason Gomersall best on in that race there from 16th up to 7th ahead of Bruce Williams, Cameron Tilley and Ian Woodward, your top 10.
Tony Karamfalowski was 11th. Jim Policena after and off to 12th. Leo Tobin 13th. Belgium we saw with dramas. Front brakes locked on. Cameron Mason with oil pressure issues, and Ben Dunn unfortunately